Right. Welcome to your episode 10, actually, of the Road to Repsair podcast. We've got Zoe McIntosh, ultra distance cyclist. I think we'll go with that, yeah? And you're almost fresh off the back of Atlas Mountain Race.
Yeah.
It's been a couple of weeks, right?
Yeah, nearly fresh.
So how long ago was that? 2 weeks?
2 weeks? Yeah. Gosh, it has been 2 weeks already. Yeah, 2 weeks. It feels like it's been 1 week because I feel like I've only just started getting back to myself. But yeah.
And you're back up and about in Girona, riding.
Yeah.
So everyone is in Girona. Like Regents is empty in the morning now because you're all over there.
As it should be. They're chasing the sun. And it's funny, I literally went into town the other day and it was just like, London could be here right now. But yeah, it's nice being here.
Cool. So let's start at the start. How did you get into it? Ultra distance cycling, that is.
How did I feel like it kind of happened in a really random way and probably like through meeting certain people. But I basically started riding longer and longer distances when I realized I could literally get from A to B, i.e. maybe London to Wales by bike as opposed to just getting a train and paying for a train as a student. I've always enjoyed just kind of like riding to the point where my mind kind of clocks out of the fact that I'm actually doing something so big. And I think that goes for a lot of ultra distance cyclists. It's this kind of like weird, your mind leaves everything behind and your body is just doing all the work.
Okay.
It's really nice. And I guess I started in the ultra distance racing scene through my role at Apogee, where I worked at previously. So I was always working with athletes and hearing about like what they'd been up to and like what races there were out there. And then because I was listening so much to their experiences, I was like, this sounds like something I would like to experience. And yeah, decided to sign up to my first kind of, it wasn't even an ultra, it was a gravel race. It was a Pan-Celtic gravel rally.
Okay.
And that's like 200k, maybe like 6,000 meters of climbing, and that's a stage race. And I remember just being like, I love this distance, but I want more. And then kind of just kept saying, I'll do more and more and keep seeing like how my body reacts to that. So yeah, it's been, I mean, I haven't been racing long. It's only been since the start of last year. So I'm learning every race what I'm capable of and what my
Which I think is kind of like the big thing, right? Even if you can be the fittest, the strongest physically, but it doesn't take a lot for that to crumble mentally.
Yeah.
And again, you can probably be mentally tough and get a lot further, even if you're physically not as resilient and tough. So I think it's always been really, really intriguing to me. It's something that I guess the reason why I started all this is because I wanted to listen and learn from other people. And I think it came out of maybe a year or two ago. I was like, why aren't I motivated? Why don't I want to do stuff? You're bombarded on social media with people doing all these cool trips and epic journeys and stuff. And I'm like, what's missing? Why haven't I got that anymore? And just trying to figure out, is it a mental thing? Is it a physical thing? And seeing people achieve stuff that, I think I'll try and put this in the nicest possible. They don't look like the kind of people who can do what they do, if that makes sense. And I put it in an Instagram post about when you were coming on about what feels like it's a genre where ordinary people are doing extraordinary things, and it's not as showy as a lot of other stuff.
Yeah.
So they just seem to crack on, do it, and it's just incredible. And I'm trying out, I spoke to Camille. I think the first few episodes of this, it's definitely been completely accidentally been a bit more ultra themed. I'm not going to say focused, but themed. So we've had like Camille on from Further, Main Rump. Now we've got you. We've got an apparel brand who specialise in this sort of thing coming on shortly. It's just, I think I find it the most intriguing from what people do. And again, like when you say you kind of started racing, was your first one May last year?
Yeah.
Yeah. So started racing in May, and all of a sudden you're doing the shit that you do. Like it's pretty impressive in a very short space of time.
Yeah.
But you've mentioned it a few times, like last year and I guess this year as well. You've got a coach in your training, right?
Yeah.
And how much of it do you think is? Do you do anything on the mental side as well as physical, or are you just like naturally, fuck it, what's the worst that can happen?
I think naturally I do have this kind of, I like to make myself uncomfortable. I think that's something I've got in me. It's something that I sometimes, like at the start of a race, I'll be like so stressed, so anxious, kind of everything that, if someone who didn't understand the scene looked at me in those moments, they'd go, like, are you okay? Like, you don't have to do this. But
Yeah.
I know that the people who do exist within this scene, and like even my parents and like people who know me very personally, they're like, this is what fuels you for what you're about to do. Like, this is part of it. This is like, you
So
need
what,
this.
like the stress, the anxiety, all that stuff, it kind of motivates you.
Absolutely. I mean, in the moment, it's something I'm still learning about myself, because in the moment it does feel like this kind of like overbearing kind of anxiety that just like is quite intense. But I know that as soon as I get on those pedals, that's all I'm doing. And I
Okay.
think it's so natural to feel that anxiety, because it evidently means so much to me to be able to like go and do this stuff. So I have to feel that. Otherwise, I don't think this would be for me. I don't
Well,
think it would
surely
get.
that part of the challenge. I mean, if you ignore all the distances and the terrain and all that sort of stuff, a lot of it is just mental. So
Yeah.
I guess once your brain's working overtime, it sort of it kicks in. Um, that's all part of it, surely. I get the switching off that you mentioned. You
Mhm.
know, the escapism side of it, and almost everyone who's been on has used that phrase for whatever they do, like cycling related.
Mhm.
So I totally get that aspect of it. And in terms of like the physical prep,
Mhm.
what sort of training are you actually doing? Does it
Lots of
just
it.
go out for a long ride?
Yeah, you literally. Well, I mean,
Right.
this
There's
is
going to be
the.
more structure than that, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely. This is the interesting part, 'cause a lot of people ask me, you must go out on like really long rides and go kind of, camping and 8 hour plus. But actually, a lot of my training is to do shorter hours, but just lots of it to build up
Okay.
that like endurance and fatigue. So, yeah, whenever someone's like, have you gone out night riding before? I mean, the first race, one of the first ultras I did, I'd never done night riding. That was the first time I'd done night riding. And I was so nervous that I hadn't done it before. But I've got an amazing coach, Rich, who was just like, you will know your rhythm. You'll get into that rhythm. You'll know when
Yeah.
you're tired. You'll know when to break through that tiredness and when to keep going. No kind of training will train you for that. It's all about like how you are in that moment. So yeah, I mean, a lot of it is literally just like 2 to 4 hour blocks of endurance, and then some interval work around like thresholds. But that's just to make sure the legs are still powerful, as opposed to just.
I guess like obviously you have you moved to Girona?
No, I haven't. Not yet.
Yeah, not yet. I guess the thing that you can add over there that's a bit more difficult to do here is the skills
Mm,
and learning to ride a rocket or climb a rocky
yeah.
descent, knowing where your limits are and hike a bike, anything like that. You know, it's kind of on your doorstep there, whereas here it's just shitty mud, I guess.
Yeah. My relationship with living in London has been quite complex the last definitely year, since training a lot more.
Yeah,
I love being in London. I think the community of cyclists there is somewhat unmatched from my perspective, because I've come from living in remote Wales where I was brought up, where all I was doing was riding by myself, to then coming into London and then being almost overwhelmed by like how many cyclists there are and different types of
yeah.
cyclists. It holds a big place in my heart for, people who have gotten me into this world of cycling. They all live in London. So yeah, it's a complex one, but I love being here, and I love exactly that remoteness and being able to just jump out the door and being on a trail. Yeah.
Reverse of me. I left Girona and came back to London. Girona I found a little bit overwhelming because it's so small and there's so many people there and you just can't move.
Mm,
And then I came back to London and I was anonymous and I fucking loved it. That's changed a little bit since then, but
yeah.
there are incredible communities here. You can't literally go anywhere without. I mean, there's always people up for a ride. It's just a shame that the riding isn't quite the same as what you've got over there.
No, but it fills that void. I mean, from where me doing Regent's laps, that's so bonkers to me, because then I'll go and do the Atlas mountain race,
Yeah,
which
yeah,
is
yeah.
plus 20,000 meters of climbing, whereas in Regents you'll go for an hour and do like 20 meters of climbing, if even that. But doing a form like Regents laps or anything like that, that's my social life. It's like, I know I'm going
Yep.
to bump into a friend, like even you, and go for a coffee afterwards. Like, it has such a important part to people's lives that, yeah, can't really be judged, because if that's your social life, that's fine.
So there are your kind of a bit more experienced in the racing, the
Mm.
scene. What do you see as lessons you've learned so far? And it could be anything from physical or mental prep through to nutrition, kit. It feels to me like you're always learning,
Yeah.
like route prep, whatever it can be. Where do you currently feel like you've learned a lot and you've like, I've got that absolutely down now, but I really need to work at that?
I feel like I'm constantly learning 24/7 and learning on top of the learning I've done as well, which is always so complex. I never feel like I've gone into a race being fully ready for it in terms of like
That's a
kit.
good thing though, right? Because if anything goes wrong, that could be pretty devastating. I think if you feel like ready for something, everything is perfect. That's just the recipe for it's gonna go wrong.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, I think my biggest learning over the last year and what a half now has been that I am more than capable, and I need to instill that in my mind, because
Yeah.
actually I came into this being unsure of who I might become in this space and if I even had a space within this space. And actually what I've realized is that I am a strong cyclist, I am more than capable, but also I'm more than capable of like having a presence within the space. That's just as important.
What do you mean?
I guess like I've always been slightly nervous that I'm entering into like communities and spaces that probably maybe aren't for me, which, yeah, I'm not sure
Is that
what.
because you thought it would be intimidating?
I
Or
think
you
so.
thought you weren't good enough?
I think so. It's funny, the Pan Celtic Gravel Rally, which was my first race, I signed up to not knowing really anyone doing it and just went and made the most incredible friends that I could have ever made, to be honest, who are now
Yeah.
continually my friends, and I compete against them, and there's no kind of like, yeah, I think you just got to jump into doing it and see if it works. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But this seemed to just work from the get-go, and I leaned into it, but I was definitely very scared to do it.
Yeah. I think it's something that's come across from everyone. Well, I say everyone, the few people that I've spoken to on this about ultra and I guess gravel is that they seem far more open, welcoming,
Mm,
and friendly than some of the other scenes that
mm,
are maybe a little bit ego driven and you know where I'm going with that one. Anyway, everything I see from ultra and everyone I speak to, it does just seem very, very open. Everyone's there to do their own thing,
yeah,
even if you're there to win it. There just seems to be like a respect for everyone, and
yeah.
everyone's there to help each other out. It does seem like far more. Definitely seems like there's a really cool community around it.
Absolutely. I think everyone's in it for their own story. And I
Yeah,
think that's the beautiful part about it. It's this kind of, you're not going to leave an ultra and say, I mean, even if you come first, you're not going to leave that ultra and all you've got to say about the ultra is that you came first. You're actually probably not even going to mention that. You're going to mention
the
everything
experience,
that.
the journey.
Yeah, because that's what's interesting. And I think it doesn't depend, like, no matter what length you do, if you scratch, if you know, only get through the first day, like, there's a story in that. And there's a story in that, not only in like the experience you've had physically, but also, yeah, I guess mentally as well. Like, you'll learn so much about yourself in those moments.
It sort of
Yeah.
feels like you can come away from one of these events,
Mm,
and you could have done 3 or 4 in a year,
mm,
and there will be some like really cool stories to each of them. You can look back and go, this happened, that happened, or, I fucked this up, or that didn't quite go right, or I met this person, or this family took me, or whatever it is, or this cab driver.
mhm.
All these sort of things seem to pop up regularly throughout all these sorts of events.
Yeah.
Whereas I think in a lot of other stuff, it's, yeah, running around in circles really, really fast. And this person did that and that person did that. And then it's just done.
Yeah.
Maybe there aren't, it doesn't really create the memories that you experience.
Yeah. Absolutely.
What and where is next? What have you coming up in the near future?
So I'm actually coming back to London fairly soon, but our next race will be Dales Divide,
Okay,
starting on Arnside. Really looking forward to that. It's going to look muddy, boggy, all the good stuff.
UK.
UK. Yeah, proper
When's
UK.
that?
That's the 3rd of April, Easter weekend.
Ah, it's my birthday, no? Cool. I'll be thinking of you. I won't.
I'm not coming.
And then what have you got in the summer? Anything yet?
What do I have? So I've got, Dales, and then I'm doing the gravel rally again because it's just epic and it's in Wales. And then I'm doing the Granock 300, which is fairly new.
Yeah,
And then Dorset Divide, and potentially another one in summer, but I haven't quite decided. I'm between the idea of doing a pairs race or going solo for something, but yeah, yet to be decided.
interesting. I struggled doing team like marathon events because it felt to me I was always either thinking I can't let that person down,
Yeah.
and then what if and if you've got a team of like four, the 24-hour race, you're out for a few hours, go back, have a nap, then you're out for a few more hours. It was harder to do that than it was just to stay out. I can completely understand why the escapism comes up so much. Just, I think when you go through a certain environment, and like it could be anywhere, but like you just see these views and scenes, and you kind of escape your own head a little bit. It's the what I think it's if I was ever drawn to it, that would be the thing.
I think it's so interesting. Like I very on brand for me, but just when I am doing these races, I'll always do a race where I'm interested in the area around me. So whether that's community race for the elements, incredible. Like landscape is incredible. Or if it's the Atlas Mountains, like it's just something you'll never experience. Well, you will, but like, it's such a focused amount of time that like you'll experience what's around you. And I have a really bad habit of like, well, it's not a bad habit. If anything, it's a good habit, but I want to enjoy that experience as much as it can be enjoyed. Like as much as it's a race, I'm still in a place in the world where it's so special for me to be
So
there.
would you try and get into wherever the race is earlier or hang around a bit after to actually experience it? Or is it like fly in, do the race, gain all the experiences and then get out?
I think I think it makes so much sense to spend more time around the race. I mean, it's such a privilege to be able to go to these places, specifically like Morocco. Like
Yeah.
fortunately I was out there last year, so I like got to experience it even more. But probably, for many people, when are you gonna be in Morocco for that kind of thing? Probably never. So like, yeah, make the most of like where you are. For sure. I mean, the whole that ultra racing thing, and obviously like racing throughout the night, you miss so much. But yeah, hence why I like to sleep as much as possible. But I can see everything. But and also because I like.
And do you have if you figured out is it generally always the same? Like you have I can ride for this long, then I need this amount of sleep. Are you the same with every race, or do you take it as it comes?
I take it as it comes. I'm so reliant on sleep. And my coach knows this. He's very much like, it was funny, he was messaging me during Atlas after I got into CP1. He was like, keep going. And I was like, I just want to get into bed. All I want to do is sleep. But do you know what I realized is that sleep is exactly what I need for these races, because without sleep, my legs would just be shot. And I wouldn't. That night, I think I picked up 50 places the next day because those people were knackered and I'd already had 6 hours.
Yeah, it's true. So I remember speaking to Matt Falconer when he got, was it third in Transcontinental? And he said it was rather than, sleeping in bus shelters and cemeteries and whatever else you guys do. He was like, I was using hotels and it would be a bit of sleep, shower, get fresh, and then go. And he was making up. I think like, I could be wrong, but I think it was like either the second to last day, he wasn't in top 10. And then he was relatively fresh, whereas everyone else, was not.
Yeah.
Because he chose that strategy on the last 2 days, he just made up like 10 places. It's mad. And do you think you will, whatever race, wherever it is, will largely take the same approach? See how you feel and play it by ear, wing it, or do you think you'll get to a point where you're like, no, I need structure, and this is what works for me?
I think I will at some point get to the point, where I need structure. I think so, but at the moment, I'm still feeling it out
and learning.
No, I think honestly, like you mentioned earlier, but my racing has gone from a gravel race to an ultra to another ultra to like Atlas, which is like the extremer side of an ultra. So I'm like, I still don't know how my body reacts to these things. I still don't know how my head reacts to it. So I'm hoping now I've done a bigger breadth of things, I'm able to plan a bit more accordingly when it comes to sleep.
Is
But
there
like,
any one in particular that you really, really want to do? Is Atlas the peak, or is there something that
it's not, no. What is the peak though? That's yet to be decided. That is yet to be decided. I'm always, the thing is with me, it's like I'm always like, oh, that sounds great, I'll do
itchy
that. Like I'm
feet?
very much reactive,
Yeah.
which is maybe I'll like maintain this throughout the whole time I race. I don't know. Maybe there will be a goal at some point. I'm
And
not. I'm
kit,
not sure.
so kit-wise, you use both a mountain bike, well, you've recently got a mountain bike,
Yeah,
and you've got your kind of monster truck gravel bike.
yeah,
Do you look at, or will you now look at races and think, I need to use that one for these reasons or that one for these reasons?
yeah. Absolutely. I mean, yeah, having the mountain bike is such a game changer with the suspension. I know gravel bikes are getting front suspension, but
Yeah.
like having gotten back onto my gravel bike this week, that the difference suspension makes is unreal. Like I got onto my gravel bike and I was like, this feels like a road bike. And it now feels, I think that difference is like, yeah, where you can differentiate the use for races. Like if you're on a fast kind of gravel race that's fairly champagne gravel, fine, use a gravel bike. But yeah,
Yeah.
coming off of Atlas, and I probably could have used it at further elements last year, the mountain bike definitely is going to be a game changer for some of the races I have this year.
And how will you decide, like pre-race? How far in advance, and will you speak to other riders who've done stuff and go, just ask advice?
I think I mean, I've already decided for Dales it's the mountain bike. I kind of knew that when I got that mountain bike, that would be the use case for it. There's definitely some races though that I would rather use the gravel bike just because I know how to handle it. And yeah, it is a monster truck. It's got, 2.25s.
Yeah. And would you switch to the mountain bike because the course is more technical
Yeah,
and less kind of champagne gravel?
yeah, absolutely. And also, yeah, just comfort, just being able to roll over bigger rocks. So nice. As opposed to just hitting them straight on and kind of, yeah.
Hoping for the best. Yeah, funny, I took my gravel bike up to the lakes last year
Mm.
and then rode the same stuff on a hardtail this year and was like, yeah,
Game
night and
changer.
day.
It's incredible to me that people, well, I mean, Atlas is, I don't know how many years old now. I want to say 4, might be more. But like, when people started racing the Atlas Mountain Race, they were racing on gravel bikes. And
Yeah.
it's like, it's so incredible to see. Last year, people were riding on hardtails. And then this year, a lot of people were on full suspension. And yeah, it's such a demanding course in terms of like how much your body can take on that. Yeah, full suspension does make sense.
Do you think that that's because the events are getting tougher, or people have just realised that the mountain bikes are just faster and more appropriate?
Yeah, I think the latter, probably. Yeah. Hence why you're getting gravel bikes now with suspension on. Like, it is a mountain bike. Just get a mountain bike.
Do you think that they will they find a place in racing or in ultra racing, or are you thinking that these are the drop bar gravel bikes with suspension are going to that a mouthful, be purely for gravel racing and not make it maybe into the ultra side of things?
I am not sure. I
It
do
feels like we've
think,
still got a couple of years of people figuring stuff out.
yeah, I
And then
think,
the brands will catch up and then they'll get left behind. And then it's gravel. And I mean, everything seems a little bit of people trying to wing it and figure stuff out, and brands trying to think ahead,
yeah,
come up with designs for stuff that no one really needs. And it's the riders really that dictate what the needs are, not the industry.
yeah, absolutely. I think, honestly, even literally the other day, I'm, thinking about my setup for Dales and what I might change. And I am still considering putting drop bars on my mountain bike, which literally will make it into my gravel bike with
Yeah.
suspension. But like, that's not because I've seen like bikes that look cool with drop bars or whatever. That's actually just my own riding preference. I do wonder if maybe that is better suited to me for comfort reasons, because I had issues with my bars during Atlas. I think it's just like, just do what makes you feel comfortable on the bike at the end of the day.
So I mean, I
Yeah.
guess when something is so difficult, if you find something that works, doesn't really matter,
Mm.
whether it's Shiny S Works or a Franken bike. If it works for you, then
Yeah.
that's all that really matters.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And nutrition wise, so
Mm.
when you're packing, um, I'm not going to compare my touring trips to your ultras. Um, so a friend of mine, I'm going away soon, and I can't pack my bike for shit. Like
Mm.
I always take way too much stuff, and I get to the end of the trip, and I'm like, I didn't even look at that thing. How have you whittled down to get to, if we look at how much food do you start out with,
Mm.
and do you get to a point where you're like, I don't need to carry food because there's plenty of stops on the way. How much kit are you taking on a typical? I guess
Mm.
there isn't a typical. I'm assuming that when you get to something like Morocco,
Mm.
you can be baking hot during the day and freezing cold at night. So, like, you can never do those sorts of things traveling light. And then you look at anything in the UK where there's a chance of rain, mud, all that stuff. Again, can you travel light for those?
I think, yeah, it is just such a, you're never quite sure what you need. I think for Morocco this year, I went last year and brought literally just my summer clothes, summer cycling kit, pretty
Yeah,
much, and then this down jacket for the nights because it gets Baltic at night, and then waterproofs. But this year, Morocco was just crazy because we had the amount of rain they've had this year has like stopped a 5-year drought. Like
yeah,
it was rain, snow, wind. You had to pack for everything, otherwise you're just going to make yourself ill. So I brought, well, originally I was planning on bringing a really light setup, and then I ended up having to bring all sorts of layers. Like I think I brought 3 pairs of gloves, only 1 pair of bibs, waterproofs, like a jumper, balaclava, yeah, socks, 3 pairs of socks, I think.
yeah,
Just because I was like, if anything's gonna, and this is funny given what actually happened, but I was like, if anything's gonna stop me from riding, it's layers, like not having the right layers. Like I'd rather pack more and be comfortable and, change out of
yeah.
wet clothes if I have to than just sit and be miserable in what I've got. And a lot of people did end up scratching in that first night because it was minus 10 degrees and snow and rain, and they didn't have any spare socks to change into. And it's like, if you can, just bring more.
Yeah, and I guess I'm the kind of funny enough. A friend went to Morocco. He did solo bikepacking.
Mm.
Was it? I think it was earlier this year. No,
Mm.
it wasn't. It wouldn't have been. It would have been late last year.
Mm.
Morocco is somewhere I'd really like to go. Even from my old mountain bike days, people were running trips there.
Mm.
You just, I think I would just have in my head that you're going to North Africa, therefore it's going to be hot.
Yeah.
But yeah, clearly not.
No, honestly, it is. I think the Atlas Mountains itself, you have got that constant change of climate and weather. And yeah, it gets really hot during the day, but it also gets bloody freezing at night. And then
Yeah.
if you're in the anti-Atlas, so kind of all the flatlands, that's where it's really hot. Like that's where you definitely want your summer kit as opposed to all of the bloody layers I brought. But
And I'm again assuming that you're super exposed as well.
yeah, and like exposed in like ways that like I actually wore my like Albion fleece top the whole time, and everyone was saying to me, they were like, why are you wearing that? Like, why don't you just like wear your short sleeve top? And I'm like, well, the wind is harsh on your skin, the sun
Yeah.
is really harsh on your skin, and actually that thing just keeps you kind of at a normal temperature the whole time. But yeah, I mean, the wind out there is the one thing you need to watch out for the most, to be honest. It's just bonkers.
So now you're ultra distance veteran. If someone was looking at it going, quite like the look of this,
Yeah.
top 3 tips.
If you like the look of it, just sign up for it. That's
Yeah.
my first tip. I think like if that's something in your heart that is saying you want to do this, sign up for it, and then you haven't got an option. Just jump into it and give it a go.
Yeah.
I think that is the hardest part for anything in life, actually. Number 2, make sure you do have some base fitness, but also like make sure you enjoy riding your bike. I think the worst thing to do is going into this and just relying so heavily on like building fitness but not actually enjoying building that
Yeah.
fitness. I personally like have loved seeing how much stronger I've gotten on the bike going into this, and it's been a long process, but it pays off and you see where it pays off. So yeah, enjoy riding a bike. And then the third one, I mean, maybe this is more personal to me, but I do these things not only because I like riding my bike, but because the people who do these things, they're so amazing. Like I have so much like I resonate with in this community with other people. I think there's this really beautiful kind of understanding of one another that's like not like ultra competitive. It's just this kind of like we're all doing this for our own reason, and that reason you don't need to share. I think there is this like common understanding. So I think, yeah, go into it knowing that you'll probably build a nice community and friends out of it.
Amazing. I'm trying to think what else there is left to ask.
Which ultra are you doing? Can I ask? Are you inspired?
No.
Fine.
I kind of feel like for some reason last year in particular, I've always been very driven. And I like doing stuff. And I it's not like I haven't done some pieces on the bike. I just feel as I've probably reached an age now where I've just relaxed so much that if I don't ride my bike for a week or two, I don't mind.
Yeah.
I know that I've probably bitten off more than I can chew the first 2 days of my trip that's coming up. Doesn't matter. It's a holiday. If the days are challenging and I feel like stopping, I will. And I think, again, that's why I think I love these kinds of trips is there is no hard and fast. Yes, I've got an A to B and it might be over like a 6-day period, but I know I can go and ride 60 to 80K if I want. And I know I can ride 250 to 300 if I want, he says. But I definitely don't have I guess it's desire, drive, whatever it is. Like I know the effort it would take for me to get physically and mentally in shape to even just rock up to the start line or something. And I don't think I would put myself through that again. Yeah, just so long as I'm enjoying my riding, as long as I get away and get some headspace. It's the same kind of, it is that escapism thing. I look for it in exactly the same way that everyone has spoken about on this. I guess my way of achieving it is slightly different, but when I'm in the arse end of nowhere on my bike, on my own, fucking love it. And sometimes I've got memories of sitting on top of passes in Switzerland or France or Italy where I've just stopped, sat there for an hour and just been blown away by what's around me. And yeah, I will never do an ultra. I love the idea of it. Like it seems, I think that's why the podcast has maybe taken the turn it has. I just find it so romantic.
Yeah.
The imagery that it produces, the stories that people come up with and their experiences. I'm just like, to me, it is the coolest of, all the genres, categories, whatever you want to call them. There's lots that look fun and look great. But I think, the stories, the experiences that come out of ultras, and not just ultras. I mean, look at what Victor's doing in South America at the moment, Victor Buscave. And like his Instagram feed is fucking insane.
Real.
And yeah, I just think it maybe I'm over romanticizing it, but it just seems like the coolest thing around as far as I'm concerned.
It is cool. Thank you.
So when are you back?
I'm back next week, actually.
Okay. How long for?
Well, I'm back for a week and then I'm off to Cornwall because I'm helping out at Camille's Lost Ways.
Nice.
Serving soup, not racing, just serving soup. And then I'm off to, where am I off to next? Wales for a little bike packing trip. And then the Lake District for 2 weeks, which will be
nice.
Yeah.
Where
so I'm about literally Kendal.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah, I made some amazing friends at Atlas who live in Kendal, and it turns out a lot of my friends also now live in Kendal. So
is that the guys from
Yes, Sam and Eva.
Yeah, so I don't know. They know my friend Jim who lives in Kendal as well. So when I go to the lakes, I go stay at Jim's in Kendal.
Nice.
Yeah, love the lakes.
I've actually never been with a bike. I've only ever been like as a child.
Which one are you taking? I mean, you still are.
My mountain bike.
Yeah, good call.
Yes, I'm very excited. Yeah, it'll be lovely. Just very different to here weather-wise, but I think, I'm Welsh. I can put up with it.
So Girona are a bit more of a struggle for you, then?
I mean, it's definitely not a struggle. I'm definitely enjoying the sun, and I think my skin tone is enjoying it too. I no longer look like I'm very much in the depths of winter, but
Where have you been riding?
in Girona,
Yeah.
I could not tell you. I could not. I'm so awful. I will just go and hit a trail, mainly the Gavares, I want to say, which is those like crazy trails, and I will just disappear onto those trails. Like I
Amazing.
have no awareness of like exactly where I am when I'm out here, and I never follow a route as well, which is I don't know.
think if you get the opportunity, like probably June, July, August, actually probably not August, but even September, just head north.
Okay.
Don't do a Harry Mack, but head up to the Pyrenees, just like traverse them for a couple of days, and even just the routes from Girona up to the Pyrenees, across and back. And I mean, essentially, it's what I'm doing in a couple of weeks' time.
Nice.
But I fucking love it. One of my favorite places to ride, and I get frustrated when I see everyone in Girona just riding the same old stuff. I'm like, you just go a little bit further.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely just load up and disappear for a few days. It's
Yeah.
one of the best areas for it.
I would love to. I honestly, the longest ride I'm doing whilst I'm here is 6 hours, but the next time I'm here, I'm planning on, just bringing all my camping stuff again and just disappearing, because it does look amazing. You can see the hill. Literally, I'm looking at the hills. I'm like, I want to.
Yeah. So I think when I go, I've got a couple of routes for traversing when I get there. One's like up high, but I think going by Harry's videos, a lot of it will still be closed. And then the other one just comes down a little bit lower. There's some old tracks that I want to pick up that I used to ride. So I'm looking forward to getting back. I'm not sure my legs are, but yeah. And I think I've got 4 days. Then I get to Girona probably just for 1 day, and then back to Barcelona. So
Stunning.
Yeah, can't wait. Can't wait. I guess I'm going to wrap up there if that's all right.
Yeah, that's so fine. Absolutely.
Thanks for coming on.
Thank you.
And thanks for sharing everything. I guess I think it'd be good if we could catch up again towards the end of your season, just to see how it's gone, what you learned. So if we could do that, I guess much later in the year when it starts to wind down, that would be amazing.
When I look 10 times more haggard. That's what's happening. That's the ultra journey, slowly declining. Yeah.
Wicked. Well, enjoy your next few trips, and we'll catch up soon at some point, no doubt.
Yeah, absolutely. Amazing.
Cool.
Enjoy your trip.
Will do. Take care.
Bye.
Thanks.